Chair, people always confuse the two of us, so glad to see you continue that. Just ara an féidir an ceist chur ort mé eolar an stratéis chun taú le cothú an teanga go náisiúnta gur mágat.
Tá ceisteo in Maryland, so tá program Maryland. The 20-year strategy for the Irish language 2010 to 2030 represents the state's policy in relation to the language. The strategy has cross-departmental ownership, and accordingly responsibility for its implementation rests with a number of government departments in addition to Irish language and Gaeltacht institutions and organisations. My department is responsible for coordinating the implementation of the strategy. In order to accelerate implementation, my department published a 5-year action plan for the language in June 2018, following a public consultation process and extensive engagement with key stakeholders. The action plan contains over 180 actions to be implemented over a 5-year period by around 60 stakeholders across each of the 9 areas of action set out in the strategy. The plan provides for a more efficient framework which is supporting the ongoing implementation of the strategy and is focused on specific, measurable and time-bound activities. The plan also serves to stimulate more efficient and effective participation with the overall objectives of the government in relation to the Irish language in the context of the 20-year strategy. In line with the commitment made when the plan was first published, the government published annually an implementation report covering all of the aforementioned actions contained in the plan. Further details of significant advances being made across government in support of the Irish language can be found on my own department's websites. Key actions include the ongoing implementation of the language planning process under the Gaeltacht Act 2012, the ongoing implementation of the policy on Gaeltacht dedication to 22 being spearheaded by the Department of Education, the implementation of a range of programmes by both Oireachtas and Forest na Gaeilge aimed at strengthening the use of the language, but within the Gaeltacht and on an all-island basis. The initial steps now in hand to develop a national plan for the provision of Irish medium public services following the signing into law of the Official Languages Act 2021, and I'm confident that with the additional financial allocations being provided for the language under 2023 of 8.5 million, my department and all other stakeholders will be enabled to make significant strides in advancing implementation of the plan to benefit the language and Gaeltacht regions.
And look, initially I welcome that 8.5 million that you just mentioned there, which is for the Irish language and Gaeltacht. Can I just pick up on 2 points which are mentioned in the Stratéis Fiche Bliana? And the first one, which I welcome again, is the establishment of this TG Cahir Kids Channel, Coola Cahir. And I suppose that meets Objective 9 in the Stratéis Fiche Bliana, which ensures that we will support high-quality broadcast services through the medium of Irish. So it's good to see that that specific objective in the Stratéis Fiche Bliana is being met. But can I just reference Objective 7, and I think it's something that we need to work with, and maybe something you can work in conjunction with Minister O'Gorman on. I was out in my front garden at the weekend with my child who attends in Ianra, and he picked up what turned out to be a dead leaf, but in his imagination it was a féileacán. And for me, for a 3-year-old to come in and use that kind of terminology and words, which he's obviously picked up at the Ianra, I think it shows the good work that they do. And can you comment if there's any additional funding available to Ianra, I suppose, above what a normal English provider might receive? Because my understanding is there isn't, and I think it's something that's worth considering.
Thanks very much, Deputy. And look, the development of an Ianry and supporting them are a key part of the 20-year strategy, but also with the funding increases, the ongoing development of them will be extremely important in the context of the language, and we have a plan with Oireachtas and Gaeltacht and partnering with community organisations to continue the development of Ianry right across the country. I'll revert to you on the specific question relating to Minister O'Gorman's announcement and provide further detail on it.
Thanks, Chair, and I'd appreciate that, Minister. As I said, I think that they do brilliant work like most of our childcare providers, but given that they have extra requirements, to make sure that their staff are qualified and competent in teaching Irish and instructing in Irish, I think, whether it's an extra increment on their capitation or whatever can be done, I think it's something that we need to really look at to ensure that, we still manage to nurture and foster that positive kind of outlook towards people that are looking to acquire Irish at a very young age. And it's just, I even questioned that childcare provider, and you know, there's no funding, to my knowledge, again being received for staff specifically to go off and to, you know, improve their own language skills when they are dealing with children. So I would encourage you to I suppose, to talk with Minister O'Gorman about it and see if it's something that can be looked at.
No, we will engage with Minister O'Gorman and also with Minister Foley. I think there is particularly with the new Official Languages Act and trying to strengthen it across public services, and I think the state's investment in childcare demonstrates that, you know, the state is having a much bigger role there in terms of preschool and than maybe it had in the past. So both at preschool right the way through to primary and secondary level, we need to ensure that the language development from a continuous professional development perspective is strengthened, and my department will engage with both Ministers O'Gorman and Foley on continuing to strengthen the quality of language and on upskilling and training, so there's more opportunities from a professional perspective for teachers and those who want to upskill in the language. I think that's really important, and from a preschool perspective as well.